Hello, and welcome to a chat on the Leo North Node and the Aquarius North Node. So, if you have already seen the first batch of me talking through the Aries North Node, Taurus North Node, and Gemini North Node, and how specifically each of those can get kind of the best and the most momentum out of this upcoming, at the time of recording this Aries North Node chapter that we'll all be living through as a collective. If you saw that already, if you watched the intro, you heard me talk about the three nodal groups that I did not make it to in the Taurus North Node chapter. I did 9 out of the 12, talking through the 9 nodal groups and how they can apply the Taurus North Node chapter to get the most blah blah, like the same kind of thing that I did with these first 3. The 3 though that I did not make it to were the Leo North Node, the Aquarius North Node, and the Virgo North Node. And so those 3, I like, as it was all unfolding, I mean, I mentioned I'm a Pisces North Node in the 12th house, and my practice for years and years and years, which is beautiful, has been follow your intuition. Let it guide you where you are supposed to show up when you are supposed to show up there. And my intuition never led me to even prepare myself for those 3 chapters, meaning like in the 2 books that I've referenced throughout these videos, Astrology for the Soul by Jan Spiller and Yesterday's Sky by Stephen Forrest, I never really dove into the chapters for these 3 nodal groups. Like, I have not exposed myself to that at all. And I can tell you from the other chapters, like, yes, I'm only a Pisces North Node, like we all only ever have one of them, but as I work with each individual chapter, each individual nodal group, as I tune in to that archetype of having this sign on the South Node and this sign on the North Node, as I look at that path, it works with me in my own energy. There's an update, there's reconfigurations that happen, there are epiphanies that happen that deepen my own understanding of who I really am in this life. And so it's not like, it's like all of these other North Node chapters, I just have to take it in so I can share it with you guys. Like, me taking it in changes me. And so that's step number 1. And then I come on here and I'm able to like share, whatever happened in that transformation, basically, of me absorbing this information. And then I give you the outcome of that. I knew if my intuition is not leading me there, it's not time. It's not time for me to listen to that. It's not I listen to all my audiobooks. I read with my ears. It's not time for me to listen to those chapters. I don't need that information right now. It's not helpful to me. It will be harmful to me if I just go with, well, I promised a series of 12, so I better just knock out these last 3. That's definitely my Virgo South Node would have rolled with that and would have made it happen. And let me tell you what, like, I think I was protected by not taking in this information until I was ready, which I listened to both the Aquarius North Node and the Leo North Node chapter of Jan Spiller's book this morning. And I mean, that's what this video is explaining why I wasn't ready until today. And today I was ready, and it's huge. It's huge, the impact of it. And leading up to this point, I was not ready. I just wasn't ready. Like, I was doing all of these other things. I was healing all of these other elements that were the pieces that were like out of sync, out of alignment. And so while I was not looking at these things, like, it's not like I was just doing nothing. Like, I'm not looking at that, but I am looking at this, and I'm working through these processes, and so much good stuff has happened in the last year and a half that has healed deep, deep, deep pieces of who I am. Oh, I have transformed, and in that transformation, the readiness came to the surface, the readiness to be able to absorb these particular chapters was there. And it didn't just happen. It was like, I think I'm wrapping a lot of this this compassion around this, as far as like for myself and for anybody who resonates with, I don't feel like doing that. I don't have the energy, I don't have the oomph to like actually do the thing. And I am a big believer that there is divine timing in all things. And as I was listening to the Leo North Node chapter, which I gotta say was the Aquarius North Node chapter was triggering to me in my own way, in its own way. But I think the Leo North Node chapter is even worse. Like the Aquarius, I'm just gonna divulge into channeling, and whatever wants to come through can come through. So in the Leo North Node chapter, that one, oh God, you guys with the Leo North Nodes. Um, I have multiple businesses, okay? But the main one, and my first one, my first baby, most entrepreneurs like will think about like they birthed this business, like it comes out of you. That's very much what it feels like. And that very first business, when I pulled its natal chart for like grand opening, day one, minute one, we're gonna unlock the door, the experience is now released into the world, like same as the baby is born. That moment in that chart of that business, which is my grocery store adventure business, is a 14-degree Leo North Node. So I had never like really even noticed that before, that like that was the signature of that business itself, is that like that business definitely was born from an Aquarian kind of end of observing and understanding the bigger picture and the super ego of like, what are the needs of the all, and how could I personally lend my creative efforts to contributing to the personal needs of the all. That's a very Leo North Node kind of place to be. But like with the Leo North Node, you are meant to develop your ego. You're meant to be validated and affirmed in the rightness of your full, authentic self-expression. And when I say the Leo North Node chapter was even more triggering than the Aquarius North Node chapter, again, only by a small margin, and it was because like I felt a hard block of like some of the things that she is advising in terms of like leaning into emotionally intense and charged situations, leaning into explaining yourself and not just disappearing on a situation, but like when it gets tense and like erupts with these emotional intensities, you go into it and explain yourself further. I'm like, what? Like, I don't think so. I don't think so, lady. I think you must be wrong. And so that's today. That's today. This is like in my healing, in all of the work that I've done to come all this way, to even be ready to listen to the chapter. I can't even like break it down for you guys because I'm just like, no, just no. No. What? No. Can't be. Oh my God, you want me to do what? I did not even feel like this on my own North Node journey. Like when like I said, the Pisces North Node. So like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm a Virgo South Node. Like I resonated hardcore with the chapter that is my Pisces North Node chapter, and could definitely resonate every single thing that she's talking about with that Virgo South Node. And at the time that I found this work, I was like 5-6 years into leaning into that Pisces North Node without knowing that that's what I was doing. I was leaning into my intuition, leaning into what felt good to me, which, as it turns out, is kind of the beginnings of a Leo North Node journey as well, is finding what lights you up, what brings you to life, and then live from that place. Live from that place, and to stand up for yourself in terms of what that drive and passion is and what it's not. You know, like, again, all of these things, like, it just instantly like clenches something inside of me as I listen to the Leo North Node chapter. So how does that land as far as like, if you are a Leo North Node, like, the thought of leaning into somebody having like an emotional meltdown and kind of like, yeah, moving towards them and like mixing it up and like continuing to express yourself. Like, when I see people in intense emotions, it shuts me down immediately. Immediately. I'll leave and not come back for a year. That's what I'll do. Like, that's what she's saying, is like, that's an Aquarius South Node. That's like, you are like the most detached, the queen of detachment. That like, dude, if you want to get upset, I'll just leave for a year and let you calm down and then come back and pretend like nothing ever happened. And I'm like, oh my God, stop looking at me. Stop looking at me. Oh, Jan Spiller, you're calling me out. Ow. Yeah. So, wow. So that was the Leo North Node chapter, and that was the triggering thing, was thinking about, you know, I have a situation in mind, especially where I expressed my creative drive. And that was something she said, as far as like, if you do not receive immediate validation for something that you're like expressing, that you'll just shut down and give up and go home. Like, you'll just go back to being silent. I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. There was no like validation. There was no like, oh, that's the most brilliant thing I've ever heard. Like, if I had heard that, the whole situation would have gone completely differently. But I didn't hear that. I heard, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. How dare you even think about doing that? Oh, it crushed me. It literally shut me down for like a whole year. And what she's saying in that Leo North Node chapter is like, you know, when somebody is upset, learn to recognize that, like, it's their inner child. It's the fear. It's the attachments that they personally have to their own sense of security that you possibly are messing with. But like, it's not a personal reflection of you. It's just their fear and their attachments, and that's what you're bumping up against. And so basically her prescription is to see it that way and get curious and like use your detachment from that Aquarius South Node to like observe what's really going on here, and to ask the right questions, to express yourself and clarify and kind of like stand even more firmly in your fire. And she's like, you may even have to add some drama to your speech so that people will understand how much this means to you. And I'm like, what? Like, that matters? So I was not ready. I was not ready to make those episodes of like, hey guys, here's how you get the most out of this Taurus North Node transit. Like, dude, I don't fucking know. I don't know how you do that. Like, I barely understand this prescription that she's talking about like lean in, not ghost for a year. I'm like, okay, well, that's tricky. I'm gonna have to give that one a think. So that was the Leo North Node. the worst of the two for me personally. But the Aquarius North Node, I get it too. It's like, basically, I have a Leo moon as well, like in my personal natal chart. And so the part about the Aquarius North Node that I found like, ow, what? was basically the Aquarius North Node, the medicine that you need is to starve your ego. completely, and to basically use that as like that Leo South node. It's like your ego from past lifetimes of being royalty, basically. Like you have it in your posture, in your DNA to be important. So like your ego is like super strong and powerful, like the will that you have. Like she goes into talking, this is one of my favorite parts from the Aquarius North Node chapter, was when she was talking about the Leo South Node, and she's talking about arrogance. Ooh, bad word. Nasty word, arrogance. Don't you dare be arrogant. I mock and I play, because the way she framed arrogance, I was like, oh, preach it. Use it. Use it. What is arrogance? It is a intensely strong belief in your self-efficacy. What is self-efficacy? It means that you yourself are capable of effecting a gigantic impact in the world. It means that you yourself can create something of massive consequence. Your manifestation power, your creative will, your belief that I want it, therefore I can have it. Arrogance. Dude, it's not a bad thing. It's not a nasty word. If you're like, using it to source power from other people, if you're like getting your way just to prove to your own ego that you can, now we're definitely spinning in the South Node. And if you're an Aquarius North Node, probably you recognize that tendency. No big deal. It's just where you're coming from. And the arrogance doesn't ever go away. So it's like how to work with it, how to use it, how to channel it into something that basically, when you're on the Aquarius North Node end, the part of your ego that you need to develop is the super ego. If you followed through the beginning of the video, like when we talked about the Leo North Node, that has an overdeveloped super ego where you're thinking about the whole world, humanitarianism, like you're here to live for the good of the all. That's the Aquarius South Node. And in the Leo North Node, you need to strengthen your ego. You need a stronger sense of self where you personally believe that if you want it, you can have it. End of story. Nobody else needs to like it. Nobody else needs to validate that. You have that power. And Leo North Nodes are waking up to that. They're learning to accept that, learning to hold it, learning all of these things. Aquarius North Node is the exact opposite, where like, no, your ego's good. Your ego's like as big as it ever needs to be. And that's the whole point of coming with this Aquarius North Node, is that, okay, so now that you have this massive creative power, point it at humanitarian causes, point it at building something that will create massive value for not only the people who are on the planet at this time, but the generations and generations to come. Use your powerful life force energy, your powerful belief in your own self-efficacy to create changes that will benefit the all. Because that arrogance, that belief in yourself is one of the greatest gifts you can give to humanity, as you do not deter from what you're doing. If you see something, when you lean into that Aquarius North Node, you see something that this is good for the all. It's good for me. It flows through my own creativity, which is like, it's my own natural essence. And as I look around the world, this would really help this and this and this and this and this. And so if you see that, if you have that vision, don't stop. Keep pushing. And that stubbornness, that fixed fire of the fire that just won't quit, give it to a humanitarian cause. And what you're doing in that process, though, is starving the ego, starving the individual ego, and you're in turn building up your super ego. And so what that will look like is, and this is where my Leo moon was like, kind of like, I'm gonna have to think about that, where it's like, dude, you get no credit, You get no like accolades, you get no fans, you get no applause, you get none of that. What you're doing is basically building a stage for like other people to get the spotlight shined on them. Like, you understand this whole concept of creating an impact, and so you're going to create like a vehicle where other people can make their impact, and in your support role you're like lending your creative force, your creative power to boosting them in their work and their causes. And at the end of the day, you know, when history looks back on what happened, chances are those people who stood on the stage that you built, they will be remembered for changing the world. Your name won't be in the history books. And this is the part where my Leo moon was like, what? No. Really? I don't know about that. So, dude, we're all 12. I don't know if you guys can hear the trash truck next door. It's Tuesday. Wednesday. Oh, the holiday was yesterday. I'm recording this on July 5th, 2023. Apparently you needed to know that. So anyways, I just now took in the Aquarius North Node chapter, the Leo North Node chapter. It's very obvious to me now that I absolutely had healing left to do before I was ready to even begin the transformation of learning this material, let alone like the concept of trying to like teach it or talk anybody else through it, which is why this video was just my experience, and no like, you know, really like forecasts of how do you work with this. I don't know. I'm a beginner, and I still haven't even listened to the Virgo North Node chapter. I listened to it a long time ago because I did have like a friend who was a Virgo North Node and I'm a Pisces North Node, so like they were opposites, and I did listen to it, and I remember just being baffled by it, like completely baffled by it, and like just not connecting with it at all, basically. And that was weird because, like I said, every other chapter, like it went in and it moved things and it changed my understanding. It deepened my understanding of myself. I could see myself so much more clearly. And as I listened to the Virgo North Node chapter, I was like, I don't get this. Like, I just don't understand. And I don't know if you've ever heard the speech, the video that's called "This is Water," but that's what it makes me think of, is like basically the "This is Water" story is about two like kid fishes, and they go up to this elder fish and they're like, "Hey, so we heard about this thing. It's called water. What is it?" And he's like, "It's all around us. It's like this stuff that we're swimming in." And they're like, "What? Like it? Wait, no, like water. What is water?" And he's like, "It's all around you right now." And they're like, "What?" Like, it's just so normal. Like, your existence has never existed without that thing. And so you don't even know that that is a thing kind of thing. Like, it's so like before there's a mirror and you yourself are trying to look at your own eyeballs kind of thing. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, that is the part of you that is doing the looking. And so looking at the part that's doing the looking is very difficult, very challenging. So again, I still haven't even listened to the Virgo North Node chapter. Again, my intuition hasn't led me there yet. This Leo Aquarius piece, though, was very clearly ready to come in today. And as I listened to the Leo North Node chapter, it did jog in my memory, like, hey, I think that's what's in my grocery business chart. And so I pull it up, and yeah, like the grocery business chart, my grocery adventure does have the Leo North Node and the Leo Moon. And I'm like, you want me to do what? So readiness, you know, and giving ourselves a bit of compassion for when we're ready, we're ready. And when we're not ready, we're not ready. And all of it's okay, because it's all just for the joy of the journey anyway. It's all just for the one step at a time anyway. So as far as I see it, I have a phrase that I say all the time, like, that's fun for another day. You know, like me not really diving into these Leo and Aquarius chapters or the Virgo chapter yet, like that's fun for another day. Not only am I spared from coming into contact with something that is not what I'm ready for, but also you're spared from trying to listen to me talk about something that I have no freaking clue. I don't know how to do that. So yeah, like it's been very humbling this morning to take these pieces in, and the transformation has ignited, has kicked itself off. So I have no doubt that at some point in the near future, I will have content coming for more content coming for the Leo, Aquarius, and Virgo North Node groups. Thank you so much for your patience. If you're one of those, I really appreciate, you know, the people who did ask for that content and like wanting to see those chapters. I'm so grateful that you're curious enough to want to hear my take on it. Like that's flattering, and I'm so grateful that you're even here to ask that question. And it was good for me too to have to do the Pisces North Node thing where I do trust my intuition and the timing of what's unfolding more than I trust the pattern and the routine and the all the different things of the physical that we can get lost in and lose track of our connections to our higher self. So I do appreciate also your patience with letting me bring this through in the timing that I'm able to. I do hope you'll stick around, take a second to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll be back soon with more content on the nodes and chatting with each of you nodal groups in your own divine journey that you signed up for. That's so awesome. That true to Pisces form being, you know, kind of an amalgamation of all the signs. There's a bit of everything in Pisces, that completion energy. I love getting to work with each of the groups to take the piece that I need for my own personal journey, and any of you that are doing the same, kudos to you on the self-work that you're doing, holding yourself in that much compassion to let yourself be so multifaceted. Congratulations on your multifacetedness. And yeah, until next time, I do hope that you'll take such good care of yourselves, and so will I.